Welcome back to American Trends on your Friday night. Jim LaValle, a board-certified clinical nutritionist, is going to help us get fit and fabulous for the new year. Yes, Jim is here. He is cracking the Metabolic Code. That's his book that you see right now. So, Jim, we talked a lot about nutrition just a minute ago. For cracking the Metabolic Code, what else goes into that?
Well, I think it's really important for people to understand that there's different reasons why you have metabolic breaks in your body that lead to weight gain, craving patterns, inabilities to sleep, maybe irritable bowel, feeling bloated, feeling like you're puffy and spongy and you're holding water, right? That was why I wrote the Metabolic Code, was for people to understand what's going on in your chemistry and how can you problem solve it so that you can fix your issues. And it's not just a one-stop shop or, one-size-fit-all plan. It was really a book that was designed to give people a personalized roadmap to their health. For athletes, whether I'm working with athletes, executives, housewives, or retired folks, I mean, everybody deserves to feel well. One of the biggest things is getting people their lean mass back. And so, one of the integrative, very innovative things that I've seen in the last couple of years, and I've been using it quite a bit, is an ingredient called Velocitol. And Velocitol, they actually add to whey protein and branched-chain amino acids, and it actually helps to increase muscle protein synthesis. So it doesn't matter whether, once somebody's stressed out and you're making a lot of cortisol, your muscle starts to break down. And your insulin receptors become resistant, and you start to store fat and lose muscle. So I've actually brought it tonight. This is another one that's neat. So this thing right here, right there, that is Velocitol. So a really interesting product. I actually used it on my son to get weight back on him after he finished his football season, because he was playing both ways and he just got a scholarship to Arizona State. And he needed to get some weight back on for his official visit. So it's important for people to understand stress is going to cause your muscle to break down. You lose your sex hormones as your stress hormones go up. So your self-esteem goes down. It's important to manage those stress hormones. The other side that's important is understanding you can't cheat sleep. The more that people get stressed out, the more you carry that stress in your brain into the evening, and you disrupt your sleep pattern. As soon as you disrupt your sleep pattern, for example, people that sleep 5 hours a night will be 73% more likely to become obese. So it's a problem because it slows your metabolism down, you increase your fat storing, and you don't burn your calories as efficiently. So sleep is super important for people to gain control of their metabolism. The other one is eating anti-inflammatory foods, pulling it back to the diet. We usually get people off of dairy, off of gluten-containing grains, off of soy, off of corn the first 4 to 6 weeks, just to see how reactive they were to food. Because a lot of times, and then we'll maybe do a food allergy panel on them, because a lot of times just getting them off those kind of interferences with their metabolism really helps to get your metabolism moving again. So I see that picture of that great blender there. Remember, if you're going to blend, 3 or 4 vegetables for every fruit. 3 or 4 vegetables for every fruit, because what ends up happening is people end up doing a lot of fruit and they get a lot of fruit sugar.
Yeah, I tried that and I learned that the hard way. Yeah, I want to talk to you, Jim, about the sport fitness programs that you create, because not only do you do it for, all of us, but elite athletes you do too for different sports teams.
That's exactly right. So I've worked with Corvette Race team. I've worked with Chicago Blackhawks. I've worked with the Anaheim Ducks. I'm working now with the NFL Hall of Fame Village. Got the Orlando Magic up there. I've done some work with some of their players. Interestingly, elite athletes aren't any different in terms of their biochemistry needs than us. I mean, in fact, when we get stressed out, our body responds the same way. The difference is they're pushing their body a lot harder. Now, I got to give a shout out to my dietitian buddy at the Blackhawks, Julie Burns. She's fantastic. But I think it's important to understand, like I'm doing the NFL Hall of Fame Village now. It's a $1 billion health complex where we're putting in personalized healthcare. So personalized medicine, personalized pharmacy, programs not just for the NFL Hall of Famers, but also for people to live a Hall of Fame life. So, it's literally for the community at large, but at the same time, we'll be working with a lot of ex-NFL players and helping them to reach back for their vitality. So I've been very fortunate. Olympic gold medalists have worked on and that were gymnasts. And so been really fortunate to work with these athletes at a high level. The number one thing that they lose, I'm telling you, that I see over and over again is almost always they don't get enough protein for their demands. Sometimes you can't get it all by eating it. That's why I like that Velocitol that I showed earlier and whey protein and branched-chain amino acids, because it's easy to absorb, and it's all about getting your body to be able to hold on to that muscle. Because what happens is if you can hold on to muscle, you're going to be less injured, right? So muscle being the currency of your aging, the more lean muscle you hold on to, the less your risk for injury as you're aging. That's called sarcopenia. So sarcopenia is the loss of muscle. When you hit age 40, it starts to happen. So you want to avoid that.
Well, so what I'm hearing you say is there's lots of things that we can put in our body. Exercise is really, really important. And pick an exercise that you love.
Yeah, that's super important. And don't forget, get sleep. Try to target 7 hours of sleep. I mean, that's the minimum. If you can do those things, and then in addition to that, manage your stress. You may need to take an herb or a nutrient to help you with stress. Those are some key things that could really help someone in this new year.
Talk about the Orlando Magic with cracking their metabolic code. What was the fitness program you prescribed for them?
Well, the big thing that I did for the Magic is I worked up some of their players on their biochemistry. So, what we do is we go in and we dial in their labs. So we look at their blood tests. And we also may do urine and saliva. In addition to that, we'll design a diet program specific for them. On the fitness side, they've got performance instructors and people that are, full-time doing that. So they kind of map out what the workload is they're going to be. And what we have to do is figure out what kind of food that they, that best they need to eat, and then what nutrients they may need to take, reduce cramping, reduce ligament pulls, those kind of things, and to keep their endurance and stamina up. Now, we did a program with Lifetime Fitness a few years back where we had over 200,000 people take our survey and then act on it to change their life, meaning they got to lose weight because we looked at these other parameters for their health other than just, you just have to eat less and exercise more, which everybody knows that doesn't work for a lot of people these days. So that was a really interesting program that we did as well.
All right, Jim LaValle, great talking with you. Again, Cracking the Metabolic Code, that is your book, and I know that we can find it everywhere. Some really, really great advice, and we're so glad you got to join us on this Friday night on America Trends. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Good. We had fun, too. We'll be back right after this.
Right off them tonight.